Now, believe it or not, I have never reviewed an Alienware product on this channel. Yeah, that's right. I've reviewed my share of Dell products from the XPS line, the Latitude line, the Precision line, and so forth, but I have never reviewed any of their gaming laptops. That will all change today. I took delivery of the Alienware x17 R2. That's all new here for 2022. You got the Core i9-12900HK. Pair that with an RTX 3080 Ti, a very powerful combination. You're gonna see some pretty good numbers. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Alienware x17 R2, all new here for 2022. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unboxing, I want to let everybody know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, that I'm not being paid by Dell. I'm not being sponsored by Dell. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Dell is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit is on loan from Dell, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, pricing starts at $2249, but the unit that Dell sent over is $4,049.99. It's a very expensive product, but not unlike other gaming laptops in this category. This is a premium gaming laptop with high-end components, of course, and you're going to pay the price for it. But as you'll see from this performance and the numbers and the build quality, it is excellent. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. And with the specs and pricing out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. Now, lifting the lid, you're going to notice some really premium high-end packaging. Not surprised at this price point, of course. And then, of course, you're greeted by the unit itself. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Now, you get some Alienware stickers along with some documentation and warranty information as well. Now, they also give you a 330-watt power adapter, very reminiscent of the XPS line adapter, and it also is a pretty slim adapter considering it is packing 330 watts of power, so that's been pretty good. And holding the unit for the first time, the first thing that comes to mind is just how premium this build is. It's an all-metal design. The top and the bottom, it's all metal. And just at a little bit over 3 kilograms or 6.82 pounds. It's definitely portable enough to take with you on the go, but it's a big boy considering this is considered a quote-unquote slim gaming laptop. But it does pack a lot of power and does have excellent thermals, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Now, this is the Lunar Light finish with a high-endurance clear coat designed for stain resistance, and so far it's holding up really well in the limited time that I've had it. And I really am a fan of this design language quite a bit, actually. I think it has a futuristic look, it's sleek looking, and it's pretty interesting looking at the same time. I like that honeycomb design as far as those heat vents are concerned. Very interesting indeed, and I'm liking the aesthetics of this laptop. Okay, let's get into the ports. Right off the bat, you're going to know that the power port is on the left and your 3.5mm microphone headphone combo jack is on the right. But all the main ports are on the back of the device out of the way, and I'm a big fan of that design. I like where all the wires and cables are not in your front of you, they're behind you, so that's been pretty good so far. On the back is a Thunderbolt 4 port that supports power delivery, a Type A port, which is USB-A 3.2 Gen 1, RJ45 Killer Ethernet, Type C port, 3.2 Gen 2 port is next to that. That also supports power delivery. HDMI 2.1 output port, so that's good for DisplayPort out. And the Type A USB 3.2 Gen 1 port, a microSD card slot, and finally a mini DisplayPort 1.4 to round out the ports on this laptop. I would say all in all, an excellent port selection. Now, to get inside this laptop, Dell makes it pretty easy, and all you have to do is remove the 8 Phillips head screws. The 2 middle ones are captive screws, the rest are removed. Once you do that, pop off that bottom plate. It comes off pretty easily, and you're in. Now, let's talk about upgradability. Now, when it comes to upgrading the RAM, the good news is there are 2 RAM slots that are accessible to the user. Now, my review unit has 32 gigabytes, 2 16 gigabyte sticks of DDR5 4800 RAM running in dual channel mode. So that is pretty good. Now, you can do a maximum of 64 gigabytes of RAM on this, and the Dell website lets you configure up to that 64 gigabyte limit. And there are two SSD slots that are accessible to the user as well. So if you want to expand out the storage, you have that option. Now, my review unit has two 1 terabyte SSDs on this, taking up the two slots, and they're running in a RAID 0 configuration. But what is really pretty amazing about this configuration is check out these reads and writes. These are the best reads and writes I've ever seen on SSDs anywhere. This thing is pretty amazing. And nothing comes even close to these reads and writes. And it has killer Wi-Fi 6, which is 6E certified, and it also has Bluetooth 5.2. Now, this card is soldered into the motherboard. You won't be able to upgrade it yourself, so you can change it out down the road, but it's working very well. It had no issues on either the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. Now, when it comes to the display, there are three options. They're all 17.3 options, two of which are full HD options and one UHD 4K option. They're 16:9 aspect ratios. I have that middle one, the full HD 1920 by 1080 with a 360 hertz refresh rate. Now, this is an IPS display that supports NVIDIA G-Sync, and it has advanced Optimus, so if you're going to switch between the dedicated graphics and the discrete graphics to help out with the graphics on this, you have that option. Now, it also is the Comfort View Plus display with a 1 millisecond response time. So not only does it have that high refresh rate, it also has a very good response time. So when you're gaming on this, you're going to get the maximum amount of performance and the best experience out of that. And you're looking at some really deep blacks, good white point, good contrast, and a really good Delta E score of 1.61. Remember, anything below 2 means it's color accurate, and you get very good coverage of the color gamut. 100% sRGB, 81% Adobe RGB, 82% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, and 75% NTSC. So this is a good choice if you are a content creator that does Lightroom, Photoshop, color grading, and of course, video editing. Now, this is a matte display, so you don't get any unnecessary glare or reflection, so that's not going to distract you when you're gaming or when you're trying to get work done on this laptop. And I measured 370 nits in terms of the screen brightness. So it's definitely good enough for indoor use and even outdoor use as long as you're not in direct sunlight. But again, no glare on this because of that coating on it, so it's been pretty good. And as I mentioned, that 360 hertz refresh rate means you're going to get that really smooth scrolling, the very fluid gameplay, the very smooth experience that you'd want operating throughout the OS. That is a really big plus. And you might be asking yourself, do I go with the full HD option on this or do I go with the 4K UHD option? Now, keep in mind that UHD option is also 120 hertz refresh rate, so that's been pretty good as well. I don't have that one to test out, but my guess is you'll do better in terms of the battery life, although all three of these are not going to be great in that department, as I'll show you very soon. But as far as this 340 hertz refresh rate with the 1080p resolution, I think that's a sweet spot because I think when it comes to the gaming, you're going to want that higher refresh rate. Again, I like having that 1 millisecond response time. It's actually been pretty good.
Not a very good webcam here. It's a 720p webcam where the trend here in 2022 is a 1080p webcam. Now, keep in mind, this is a gaming laptop first and foremost, so the camera may not be of utmost importance for some, but for some that are working from home or do hybrid working, you may need that. So 720p, it is an IR camera, I should say that. Allows you to log in with Windows Hello with face recognition. That's good. There's no fingerprint scanner. What do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality? Let me know in that comment section below. Personally, I don't think it's too good, but again, it's serviceable and you're in a pinch. You have something better than nothing, I guess. Let me know what you think in that comment section below.
Okay, let's get into the performance. And as I mentioned earlier, this is running that 12th gen Intel processor. It's the Core i9-12900HK with an RTX 3080 Ti graphics from NVIDIA, which has 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, that's video RAM, with 175 watt TDP. So that's a pretty impressive numbers. As you can see here, the benchmarks really show that this can perform not only for the gaming and the powerful stuff you want to use this for, but also for the kind of things you're going to use for everyday use, such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, very good PC Mark 10 score, excellent single core score for the Geekbench, and multi-core score for that Geekbench 5 test, and very good performance out of that Cinebench scores, as you see here. And as you can see, the multi-core performance was excellent on this laptop compared to the Legion 5i Pro. Even the Apple MacBook Pro 14 with its M1 Max chip, it outperformed that when it comes to multi-core performance. Very impressive stuff here indeed. And when it comes to gaming, such as Cyberpunk 2077, Apex Legends, Doom Eternal, and some of the more popular titles out there, played without a hitch. You can run it on the full settings, and you'll definitely get some really playable frame rates, especially when you're running it at 1080p with the max presets, as I mentioned. So far, so good on that gaming front. I'm very impressed with it. Having that 340 hertz refresh rate, the 1 millisecond response time, having the mux switch on this, which allows you to go between the dedicated graphics and the discrete graphics, is also a boost to you, because if you want to go with the discrete graphics only, you can do that in the settings, and that will give you about another 5 to 10% better performance in that department as well. So a lot of options here when it comes to that with that advanced Optimus, as I mentioned earlier. This definitely is a gaming laptop you want to look at. And Alienware also allows you to overclock this to get even more power. They have it built into the settings. So really good options here when it comes to the user as far as overclocking and getting the most of the performance out of this gaming laptop. And it will reach a core temperature of 100 degrees Celsius while you're gaming under maximum load, and it maintains excellent clock speeds. I saw very little, if any, thermal throttling on this laptop. And what's pretty amazing is the surface temperatures remained relatively cool considering how much power this is generating, how much heat it's generating. It didn't get overly hot to the touch, and that's pretty impressive. And as you see here, this has 4 fans to help with the cooling. And as far as the fan noise is concerned, it depends on which mode you're in. Now, if you're in performance mode, you will notice the fans kick in. It's just natural. It has to cool down the laptop. It's generating a lot of heat. It'll reach about 51 decibels, not much more than that. That's actually pretty good considering you do have 4 fans on this. But if you go in the silent mode, or if you go into the balance or auto mode, you're not going to hear it that much. It will kick in, or they will kick in under heavy load, of course, but it will be intermittent at that point. And when it comes to battery life, we're looking at an 87 watt-hour battery. And when I ran my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits, it did 4 hours and 9 minutes, which wasn't quite as good as the Legion 5i Pro for 2022 that I just took a look at, or the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14, and the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro from 2021. They all did better in terms of the battery life. This did, again, 4 hours and 9 minutes. So I would say in real world mixed usage, 3 to 4 hours, depending on what you're doing. And if you're going to do gaming on this on battery, you can expect maybe 1 hour to hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you're lucky. I doubt it, but you can try. You're not going to do better than that when it's on battery and you're gaming. And if you do need to plug in, the supplied 330 watt pretty slim adapter takes about an hour and 50 minutes to give you a full charge. Not too bad. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger. And you get 2 choices when it comes to the keyboard. You can get the Alienware X Series thin keyboard with a per key Alien FX lighting. That's the normal keyboard. Or you can get the one that Dell sent over. That's the Cherry MX Ultra Low Profile mechanical keyboard with the per key Alien FX lighting. And I gotta say, having those Cherry MX switches on it has been very satisfying, has been very interesting. It's my first time with a gaming laptop with a mechanical keyboard on it, and I like the way it feels. It gets very good tactility, very good key travel, and it's very satisfying. Let's give it a listen. And I thought the touchpad was very responsive. 2-finger scrolling was buttery smooth, and all the gestures work as you'd expect. And you're looking at quad speakers on this laptop. There are 2 tweeters and 2 subwoofers for a total of 8 watts. And I thought the sound was pretty good. Volume was good, the mids were decent, and there was some bass. Let's give it a listen, and let's compare it to one of the best in the business, or the best in the business, the 2019 MacBook Pro 16. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Alienware x17 R2 here for 2022? And I'm really impressed with it. I like its excellent productivity and gaming performance. I like the off-the-charts SSD speeds. I haven't seen the likes of that before. A 17.3-inch IPS display with a very fast 360 hertz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time. You gotta love it. Great port selection, most of them located in the back, which I love. 2 RAM slots, 2 SSD slots for expandability by the user, which you gotta love. Love the option for that Cherry MX mechanical keyboard. It really has been very satisfying on it. Good audio from the quad speakers. Stunning design, as I mentioned earlier. Now, of course, it's not perfect. It is expensive, especially the SKU that Alienware sent over, although the $2249 starting price is in line with some of its competition, but it can get expensive from there. Shorter battery life than some of its competition, and it is a bit larger and heavier than some of its competition. But that being said, I think this is an overall package you want to gravitate towards, and I have no hesitation recommending the Alienware x17 R2 here for 2022. I'm going to give this a score of 88%, making the Alienware x17 R2 here for 2022 definitely worth your money. So what do you think about this bad boy, the x17 R2? Now, I love the finish on this. Very premium, very high-end, very futuristic looking. Gotta love the design here. So you can see it really good here. Ports are pretty good on this, of course. The battery life is not, as I mentioned in the video, but a gaming laptop, I'm not gonna ding them too hard. Where you're really gonna love this is the sheer power that this brings. The Core i7-12900HK, paired with that RTX 3080 Ti GPU. And as you saw from the numbers, very, very powerful stuff. Good performance out of this, good thermals, everything you'd want in a gaming laptop. Now, it's not cheap, of course. I'll leave the latest pricing in the link below, but I really am very impressed with what Alienware or Dell did here, and I think they've got a lot of promise going forward. An excellent gaming laptop in a very competitive arena, and they definitely delivered. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.